Hi everyone. Today we discuss about complex permanent tissue. Last class we learned simple permanent tissue. Yes, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Today we learn about complex permanent tissue. Okay, so complex which means something complex, complicated, which means this cells is made up of more than yes, one type of cells. Okay. But in the case of simple permanent tissue, it is only made up of parenchyma, which means parenchymatous cells, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, three type of cells. So let's discuss where we can see these simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So when we take a stem and take a CS which means cross section of the stem and observe under microscope, we can see like this. Okay. So that CS which means the cross section of the stem. Okay. So we can see, we know outermost layer of the cell or the stem, any part of the plant which is covered with or protected by epidermis. So outermost layer is of epidermis, and next layer we can call the hypodermis. Hypodermis which is made up of collenchymatous tissue. Okay, collenchymatous tissue. And the next one is cortex. Cortex region. That region is filled with parenchymatous tissue. Okay, parenchymatous tissue. And in some case you can see pericycle, endodermis. So many different types of cells are there. When we observe the stem under a microscope. Okay, the outermost layer is made up of epidermis, and the next below the epidermis we can see hypodermis, which is made up of collenchymatous tissue, and the cortex region. The third one is cortex region, which is made up of parenchymatous tissues. And inside you can see a circle like structure, round like portions will be the this portion is made up of phloem and xylem. Okay, or xylem and phloem. So today we learn about this xylem and phloem. So these are the complex permanent tissues. Okay, so here you can see the xylem and phloem. Okay, today we discuss about complex permanent tissue. We know the complex permanent tissues are xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem. Okay, these are very important. Xylem and phloem. So please learn the spelling also. Okay, xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem both are conducting tissues. Conducting tissues. We know what's the function of this tissues, xylem and phloem, which means these both are conducting tissue. So the xylem main function of xylem is transport water and minerals. Okay, transport water and minerals or water and nutrients. Transport water and nutrients. And what's the function of phloem? Phloem helps to transport the food items prepared from the leaf to the different plant parts. Okay, to transport food and nutrients food and nutrients or food to different parts of plant. To different parts of plant. Okay. So these are the two main functions. So xylem and phloem both are conducting tissues. They have their own duty. Okay. So xylem, which helps to what? Transport water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves. Okay. Transport water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves or different body parts. And one more peculiar feature, xylem only move one direction. Okay, one direction, upward movement only. Xylem which helps to transport water from roots to different parts of the plant body. So only one direction it move. The water move only down to upward. Okay, upward direction. Upward direction. Okay, but in the case of phloem, transport food from leaves to the different parts of body, plant body. Okay, we know the food prepared from leaves. Okay, through the or by the process called photosynthesis. So this food transport from the leaf to the different parts of body with the help of phloem tissues. Okay, phloem tissues. So in this case, phloem can move or transport the materials in two-way direction. So here two-way direction, here one direction. Okay, only upward direction or upward movement only in the case of xylem. But in the case of phloem, it can move two ways, upward and downward direction. Okay, so these are the main difference between xylem and phloem tissue. Both are conducting tissues. Okay, conducting tissues. And this xylem and phloem constitute in a vascular bundle. Okay, these xylem and phloem are constituted in a vascular bundle. What do you mean by vascular bundle? So when we take a CS, you already learn about it. You will get this session. So the outermost layer is made up of, we know, epidermis or epidermal cells. And the next, below the epidermis, we can see the hypodermal region, which is made up of colon-gymatous tissue, and the central portion is covered with cortex. In this cortex region, we can see a circular arrangements of xylem and phloem. These are called vascular bundles. Okay, in this vascular bundle, we can see here each vascular bundle which is made up of xylem and phloem and also parenchymatous tissue. So here xylem is present and this portion is made up of phloem cells. Okay. So this was the xylem and phloem constitute in a vascular bundles. Okay. And next we discuss about the xylem and phloem tissues. What are the difference? Okay. First we discuss about xylem. Xylem tissues, permanent tissues are made up of 4 elements. Okay. Xylem permanent tissues are made up of 4 elements. What are they? Xylem tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibrous. Okay. So what are they? The xylem tissues are made up of xylem tracheids, tracheids and xylem vessels. Okay, xylem parenchyma and xylem fiber. Xylem fibers. So these are the 4 elements. Okay, so the xylem tissue is made up of these 4 elements. Okay, so the first one is xylem tracheids, xylem vessels and xylem parenchyma. And the main function of this xylem elements are, these xylem are, majority of the xylem elements, they are dead. Okay, only the parenchyma is living cell. Okay, the remaining 3 are dead cells, but in the case of xylem parenchyma, only living cells. Okay, and the xylem elements have thick cell wall. Okay, xylem elements have thick cell wall, and majority of the xylem cells are dead. Only the xylem parenchyma is living cell, and the remaining 3 are dead cell. Okay. And here the main function of xylem tracheids is, which helps to conduct water and minerals to upward direction. Okay, xylem tracheids which helps to move water to upward direction. Okay, and the xylem vessels also, which helps to the movement of water. So the tracheids and vessels which helps to movement of water or upward movement. Okay, upward movement. Upward movement. So xylem vessels and tracheids which helps to upward movement of water and minerals. And the xylem parenchyma is a living cell which helps to sidewise movement of water. Sidewise movement of water. Okay, sidewise movement. In this case, this helps to upward movement, but in the case of xylem parenchyma, which helps to sidewise movement of water. Okay, and the xylem fibers which helps to protection or mechanical support. It provides mechanical support. Okay, it provides mechanical support. Okay, next we discuss about phloem complex tissue or phloem tissues. This phloem tissue is also made up of 4 elements. The first one is phloem companion cells, and the second one is sieve tubes, third one phloem parenchyma and phloem fibrous. Okay, so first one is companion cells, and the second one is sieve tubes, and the third one is phloem parenchyma, and the fourth one is phloem fibrous. Okay, these are the 4 elements, okay, which is made up of phloem. So what's the difference between the xylem and phloem cells or tissues? Xylem and phloem tissues are different because of this 2. In the case of xylem, we can see xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. But in the case of phloem, we can see companion cells and sieve tubes. Okay, this both are tubular in structure, column-like tubular in structure, which helps to conduction. Okay, but in the case of this phloem, what these three cells are living. Okay, these three cells are living cells, but except fibrous. The phloem fibers are dead cell. Okay, so what is the difference between xylem and phloem? So in the case of xylem, what? Yes, the xylem parenchyma, only the living cell. Only xylem parenchyma is living. The remaining three are dead cells. But in the case of phloem, only phloem fibrous are dead cell, but the remaining three are living cell. So phloem consists living cell, compared more living cell compared to xylem, and which helps to both direction, movement of both, or which helps to move food items in both direction, upward and downward direction. But xylem, it only provide one way direction, which means upward direction. Okay, here the main function of companion cells and sieve tubes are tubular in structure. In companion cells, small perforated cells are there, which means small openings are there. Okay, which helps to both movement or both direction, two-way direction. So this cells which helps to conducting what? Food. Okay, conducting food in both direction or two-way direction. And phloem parenchyma, they helps to sidewise movement in the case of xylem. And the phloem fibers, it this is supportive cell. Okay, which helps to support the phloem. This supportive, or it provide mechanical support to the phloem tissues. Okay, let's observe the structure of these four elements in xylem and phloem. Okay, so here the xylem elements are there, and here phloem elements are there. We know only difference between these two structure, which means here also phloem parenchyma and phloem fibrous cells are there. But in the case of xylem, here also xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma is present. Only two cells are different in the case of this tube. Okay, the first one is here. You can see the xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. Both are tubular in structure, which helps to upward movement. Okay, which helps to upward movement of water. Okay, upward conduction of water. And here fibrous, both this fibrous, which helps to provide support to the cells or tissues. And this parenchyma, which helps to sidewise movement of water. Okay, which helps to sidewise movement of water. This is tubular in structure, which helps to upward movement. This helps to sidewise movement of water. And in the case of phloem consists of four elements. The first one is sieve tubes, and the second one is companion cells. Here you can see these are sieve tubes and these are companion cells. Sieve tubes have sieve plate. Okay, sieve plate. So which helps to both movement or both direction. The movement of food items in both direction. Because of the sieve plate. Sieve plate is present here. Okay. And the phloem parenchyma, which also helps to sidewise movement of food items, and these fibers which provide mechanical support. So this is the structure of xylem elements and phloem elements. Okay. So today we learn about the complex permanent tissue, xylem and phloem. So please study well. Thank you. Have a nice day.